Hi, everyone, and welcome to the end of week 2, beginning of week 3. Hopefully, you're getting into somewhat of a groove and finding the rhythm for this class is pretty similar each week. There are a couple weeks where you'll have additional projects due, but um, generally, the three where you evaluate a technology, your reading response, and then you do a mini project on that technology is basically the format for the term. So, and hopefully you're finding some engaging technology that you can see how it might be useful. Remember, the technology that you're exploring is part of it, but you're also evaluating and looking at and trying out and applying other technology to use, for instance, in assessments, in gathering information from your students, and using ways to have them respond or show what they know. So, for instance, this week we are going to be looking at Pear Deck, which is a Google extension, and you're going to be using that for your reading response. And we're going to be looking at applications, so mobile applications that you download to your phone. Generally, sometimes they're available to download now, and a lot of students will have them on iPads or tablets of some sort. So this week you're going to just look at accessing different kinds of applications that are connected and tied to STEM, and then reporting about that. So before you do that, this week you do have a quick survey. I've asked you to respond to this survey. I'm going to preview it for you. I want to know what kind of technologies you have access to. If you're in a classroom, you may have access to robotics, or at home you may have, and I thought I fixed that, goggles and sensors, 3D printing, coding programs. So what kind of access do you already have access to, or have you had experience with? So that will tell me a little bit more about what we'll cover later on in the term. So that's your first task, is to respond to that actual survey. And then I'm going to switch to student view here just because I think that's why that came up a little wonky for you guys to see. So let me put it on what you can see. Okay. So for the projects this week, you're going to first evaluate an app. So we all have used dozens, hundreds, thousands of apps at this point for something or another, but there are some really good educational apps that are related specifically to STEM. I have actually picked out some science ones, but if you have a really good math or engineering or technology app that you would like to review, I'm open to that. It just really needs to be clear that it connects to one of those content areas. This link has some ideas for exploring apps that are really good. And so I suggest, if you don't already have one in mind, to select that and choose one. And then for this week, unlike other weeks, you are going to do 2 apps. So for the evaluate and for the app project, I want you to choose 2 different ones, because these generally take a little less time to explore, a little less time to get familiar with, since these are ones that you can download quite easily, or even just preview without downloading. So you have to do one for the evaluate an application, and then the other assignment you do each week, the project. So the mobile app project, you're going to select a different one, and I've actually listed additional ones here that you can take a look at. So pick one that you think would be relevant and interesting for your educational setting, and let us know what you think. Same questions, basically. How does it apply? Do your evaluation and let us know. The other assignment is the reading response for week 3, and that is just telling us basically what you learned from the reading. So there's a couple of articles this week to read, and from your exploration of the applications. And you're going to respond this week using another technology. This is called Pear Deck. So this is what you should see when you click on that. You can skip this, or you can tell me how you're feeling today, and then it'll actually load. These are Google Slides, And so you'll actually answer the questions that are on the slides. And then once you've answered them, this one is actually the last slide, but if you go back to the first one, you'll respond here, and then you'll click to go forward. You can draw. It's got some different types of responses you're going to use, and why I wanted you to take a look at it, just how this one works. So this is a interactive Google slide presentation that your students can respond to on the slides. So that is the assignments for this week. And I do want to point out that coming up in week 4, one other thing about the resources this week. So under week 3, you'll start to see these are examples of the bibliography. So you're doing an annotated bibliography of all the resources, 30 resources that you've engaged in this term. And so hopefully you're still keeping track of those. And here's a format and an outline, some examples of how other students have completed those. I wouldn't say that any of these are exemplars, but they will give you an idea of kind of what you need to do. So, and then just to give you a heads up, on week 4, you're going to do your first applied technology project. So this one is a little bit different in that you're going to pick one of the technologies we've reviewed this in the 3 weeks leading up to this, and you're going to actually highlight that in this project. And so for the project, you're creating a presentation, kind of like what I do each week. You're going to do and use maybe like Screencast-O-Matic. That's a free, easy tool to use. Or other video software that allows you to capture your screen and yourself at the same time. And then you're going to walk us through that technology, how it's used, how to access it, kind of what you would do with it in a classroom. And then you're going to create a YouTube video and upload it here for your assignment. So start thinking about which technology you want to use and which one you're going to actually spend a little more time diving into. So that again is not scheduled until week 4, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that it was coming so you could start thinking about that. So that is the end of the week 3 recording, which I think is probably not too long. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I will be in touch and talk to you soon.